Oh, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Nistu Nidaniko Makoyo Sukoi. Nistu Amskapi Pikani. I'm coming to you today with the topic of grief. I'm usually woohoo! It's your badass auntie, but our family, our Blackfoot Confederacy and our Amskapi Pikani family, we just lost Swift Current and Doug Ironpipe Fitzgerald. And so I just want to say good afternoon. This is Wellness Wednesday. So I'm just going to visit with you about how we walk through grief. There's never a perfect or a right or a wrong way. And our grief is as big as the love. And right now, for me, things feel blurry because I'm going through the pain of losing someone very dear. And our family, the body was just brought and he was put in his lodge. And I'm with his mother, his wife, his children, his friends, his cowboy friends, his grammar school friends, his elementary friends, his high school friends, his rodeo friends, his bronc riding friends, his bull riding friends. And so I just acknowledge, that's what I'm coming from. So I wanted to welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. We always come to you to bring you a positive, productive, and a proactive. So this is a proactive message about grief. And part of grief, realize, there is Kubler-Ross, but there's also Indian protocol. And so some of the protocol when you lose someone is to make sure that their family and prayers and you guys are all welcome to come. There's a big enough space to Bab, Montana, across the street from the Leaning Tree. Tomorrow, I think the Bruised Heads are coming down, and there's a Motokeek, there's Ixkanax, there's a lot of society, because Doug was a traditional person. He always, since he was a little boy, was a traditional person. He loved climbing Chief Mountain. He loved hunting. That was his favorite place. He loved hunting. He loved fishing back in the mini glaciers. He loved fishing Lower St. Mary's. He'd fish all the beaver runs. He'd go back and forth across the border. He was one of those Amskapi Pikani that they didn't recognize the border because we have so many relatives and loved ones at Kainai, at Abatsa Pikani, at Siksikai. He just loved going up there. And those that loved Bonakamata, the horse, that loved the horse, like the horse medicine. And so some of the protocol, I'm so glad that his wife Tristan and his mother Paula and all his friends are there, because they got to braid his hair. That ceremony of braiding hair, he has beautiful hair, and it will be there a long time. His relatives made the best wood coffin. He has his brand on it. He has eagle feathers. He's got horns. They cut them and they made them and the straps. It's just beautiful, and he's laying in his buffalo robe. It was most comfortable to lay in his buffalo robe. So he's laying, and he has his favorite boots on. They're worn as heck, but his favorite boots, his favorite Levi's, his favorite Levi shirt. His friend just came in and put some tobacco in his pocket, so when he crosses over, he could have a smoke. On these 4 days, he could have a smoke. He had his favorite bear claw necklace on. He had one of his favorite scarves. So these are just some of the protocols. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. We're keeping the teachings of our ancestors alive. There's 2 lodges put up, and it's in his lodge. That lodge was one of the last ones that Omi Crawford sewed. She's 91 now, but it's still standing, still strong. It's just a very sturdy lodge with sturdy teepee liners. And he loved that lodge. Mr. Running Crane just peeled fresh teepee poles in May, and so it's got fresh teepee poles. So that's some of the protocol of when, in our grief, it helps us with the protocols. So I'm asking you, when we think about this subject of grief, tell your relatives how you would like to be buried, where you'd like to be buried. Doug's going to be buried right by his grandma and grandpa, Paul and Susie. Susie was the cook. When I moved here 30 years ago, she was the best gravy maker. She was the best chicken fried steak. She went to boot camp for cooking for firefighters with my mom, Scripted Docky. They remained friends, and she went out to fight fire and cook. She loved cooking. The greatest gift, the protocol of cooking for those. Right now, I'm parked in front of the Leaning Tree. War Pony. I really never used the Wi-Fi in here. I guess I'm using it now. War Pony has Wi-Fi. It's laughing to me. Our ponies now have Wi-Fi, and I'm hooked into it because we're in an area where there's not good Wi-Fi. You very rarely get a good signal around here. So I said, it's about to be no guy can help me if I'm supposed to get on and give a message around healing, around our healing. Let me get on. And so I went to the settings, and there was that magic number, and so I just pressed it because I guess this phone is hooked into War Pony. So War Pony is doing a good job by letting me come to you, and I have to say, that God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can. It took all of my courage, and I'll just say these past couple of days, when we found that he had passed on Monday. And so again, following best we can 4 days later, but it's taken all my courage just to come over here. And I said, Creator, so part of the protocol is you got to hug all the relatives, hug them long. Tell them you love them, and don't quit quick hugs. Hug them, hold them, squeeze them tight, because that's what he would have done. Hold them until they release. Just hold them, and just tell them Kitsikako mem, Kitsikako mem, Kitsikako mem. So part of protocol is it doesn't have to be words. Words are good. Just hug. Just keep hugging. And so that's what our family is going to be doing till we put him in the ground on Friday at 2 o'clock. And then tomorrow at 7, we're inviting any of the Siksika, the Confederacy, any of Alberta side and all of Browning side to come and say prayers with us. We got to pray him over, and we got to pray him over. And now we pay attention to the living part of the protocol. Pray for his mother, pray for his wife, pray for his children, pray for his cousins, pray for his brothers, pray for his sister, especially his sister, Moni. Pray for his sister, pray for his spotted bear relatives, pray for his iron pipe relatives, pray for his Fitzgerald relatives, pray for everything. In part of the protocol, it's about honoring his legacy. It's not it's not the time to be butting heads with no one. You should have instant forgiveness, because we all start new. We start in his honor, keeping his honor of lateral kindness alive, keeping his honor of always helping, always pitching in. And he didn't care what race you were. He was always kind. If he saw an elder struggling at Walmart parking lot or whatever he did, he went over and he helped him. He always hunted for all the elders around here. He always fished for all the elders around here. He learned to cook like his grandma. He makes the best omelets. That he was honoring his grandma's legacy. Honoring. So let's just think about how do we walk through grief? How when we first hear, we have to forgive ourselves and others, because it's shock. It's still some of the shock, still some of the numbness, still some in seeing the young children. The younger children here, they may not understand. They just see all the adults coming together, sitting around that teepee, walking into the teepee. They're just adults here cooking and feeding people. There's just the ongoing protocol of love, of unconditional love. So think about that. Say what your wishes are. Say what you want to happen with you. Say where you want to be buried. And, make no judgment, because each human being decides. Some, my sister used to always say, just tie a pork chop around my neck and send me towards that grizzly bear den. And he'll take care of the rest. She said, that's just how I want to go, and that's real different than, oh, I'm going to make a will, and let's see, who didn't I like and who did I like, and I'm going to only be real pissy. That's real pissy. And Blackfoot, it's real pissy when you do that. You manipulate people by what I'm going to give you, what I'm not going to give you. That is frickin' pissy. Don't do that. Say, and sometimes if you're ill, like I always have respect for Johnny Grounds. He transferred all his stuff while he was in the hospital, dying, so that there wouldn't be no fights about his stuff, his sacred stuff and his stuff. Say what you want. Tell people what you want. And so I'm at a place right now. I come to you. My heart is heavy. And that's okay. That's part of love. Unconditional love is having a heavy heart. The wind is really picking up here, and I think that's Doug. The wind, there's whirlwinds. There's eagles flying over. Yesterday, part of I'll just share with you, and this is kind of like an old Indian is when a person that you love dies, or when someone you're close to, they get to walk around for about 4 days. There's a transition in there. They're gonna go over Mokoyo Sekoyi, Nisduni Daniko Mokoyo Sekoyi, that Milky Way. Gakadoksikoan, the star people are gonna guide them over. You don't want them to get stuck. Sometimes it's hard because when you cry, you pull them back. Cry till your snots come out. But that when they're crossing over, you gotta be gentle to yourself. Don't get in fights. Don't be around antagonistic, mean-spirited people, and you can tell, because when someone dies and people start fighting, they're not following protocol of taking care of their spirit, of taking care of themselves in a good way. And it's not wrong or right. It's just that sometimes we forget that there's protocols with grief and loss. There's protocols about how always just be gentle with everyone. Be gentle with the family. Ask them what they need. And sometimes if they don't know, just give them food, give them money. Give them your truck, eh? No, but more pony, I'm not going to give you away. Even though Doug, he has a good truck. They have. Give him your favorite horse. Oh no, not that horse. Give him your favorite wife. Oh, not that wife. I like her. And I just, part of laughing and crying are so close together. That's why sometimes it's so serious. All these ceremonies are so serious. That's why we laugh. That's why Skapi Pikani. That's why all of us laugh, because it's so serious. This is a serious ceremony. When someone leaves their physical body, they're still alive. Their spirit is energy. Their spirit is magical, and they're crossing over. But it's that's why we can bring the humor into it. I was thinking, just this really crazy thing this morning about a 12-step program that I was Alano Club in El Cerrito. There was this old guy, and he was about 93, and he had a lot of years of sobriety. But he was always laughing and smiling, and people would look at him like, say, how come you're always laughing and smiling? And he'd be laughing and smiling and just enjoying being alive, enjoying even if it wasn't good, he was enjoying the lesson. And so anyway, they kept jocking him around. They said, how come you're always smiling? How come you're always laughing? Don't you have any resentments? And don't you have any grudges? Don't you have any resentments? He kind of pondered, and he looked around, and he goes, no, they're all dead. So see, even in healing in 12 step, there's humor. There's humor. And so talk about those grudges and those resentments. When someone passes that you communally, in the community that you love together, it's time to dissolve those grudges. It's time to put your hand halfway across the table, or to hug them and ask them if you can start over, that you can start new, that you can start rebirthing of a friendship. And it's the best when you reconcile, and when you make amends, and you come together as a family. This is the best time. That's when you lose a loved one and they die. Part of the protocol. It's the best time to forgive. It's the best time to reconcile, and even negotiate what can I do so that we're on good terms again? I promise to never do whatever that bad behavior was. I promise never to do that again. What can I do to bring us together so that we're in good standing as a relative, as a kinship, as a cousin, as a brother, as an auntie, as an uncle, as a child, as a mother? You ask. It's a good time. After you're done crying, cry. You know, last night I was really worried, and because I tried to do physical energy I spent time with my mom because my mom is grieving, and I just took her to lunch, and we walked as far as she could, and we ate a good meal, and I just sat with her, and she said, she was just saying, she said, you know, it's weird. She said, just listen to your old people, listen to your elders. She said, you know what's weird? She said, I can't think of any bad memory. There's others I can think of a bad memory, but not this one. Doug was never, you know, she was just, like I said, just thinking of, you know, the time he'd bring fish. Because sometimes, you know, he'd bring us ling, poor man's lobster. Sometimes he'd bring trout. Sometimes he'd just bring fish, you know, he'd gut it and just bring it to us. And that, like I said, my favorite was he brought her a hind quarter of an elk, and he just brought it to the door, and Mom was like, open the door, and he goes, where should I put it? And she goes, well, just put it here on the kitchen floor. And then just put it here, and she butchered it, you know, cut it up, and it was like, that was the best. Just bring it in and put it on the kitchen floor, and there you can, you know, then you can finish cutting it up, you know. And she did, and made some into dry meat, and got some little roast, and it was just a good, very healthy fat with some fat on it, hind quarter, because you know Blackfeet's like fat. Ooh, they like fat. Eh? That's why we're all enrolled. We got this little layer of fat. It feels cushy rather than just skin and bones. Eh? Anyway, just think about, you know those stages. Sometimes it's easy to slip into despair or rage. That's part of grieving. You have to move through those. You have to walk through this grieving. Rage and despair is a rough one for Indians. Rage in, you know, where you could hurt someone. Rage where you hurt yourself. A despair where you feel like you want to end it all. You gotta help each other move through it. So when you know someone's having a rough time, just go sit with them. Just sit by them and don't say a freaking thing. Just listen. Listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. You know, just sit with them and listen. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to what they're thinking. Listen to their jokes. Even if they're corny, listen to them. And listen to them. Make safe space. There's the protocol, and that's what the ceremonies with grief, they make safe space. And as you make the safe space, you sit with them and you let them talk healing, their healing, what they let them move through, because we will feel guilt, like we could have intervened. We'll feel like we could have done something, and you can't, because it's between that human being and Ishtabadabiyop. They made something is done, and it's done. So you feel all these feelings, so you gotta ride them out. You can't suck them back up with a cigarette. You can't suck them back up with the Budweiser. Frickin' know that it ain't gonna help you heal. It just keeps you stagnated and still and in slow motion. You never get to finish the grief if you just drink. In slow motion, you never get to feel the grief if you're using some fentanyl every now and then, or Oxycontin, or Coors. That shit don't help you. That shit never helped any Indian. It never helped us. So knock it off. So get clear-minded. So how do you get clear-minded to move through bargaining? You know, even our bargaining, our stage of grief, where we tell Creator, you know, oh Creator, I'll go and fast, I'll go and Sundance, I'll go to a Crecile, if you please just let them live. That's a bargaining stage. It's Creator decides when your last breath, not a human being. Unless you're a murderer, and I know you're not a murderer, so knock it off. Knock it off. And you that have done that, there's going to be atonement. Bargaining. Don't make those bargains with Creator. But it's normal. It's just normal. It's normal. It's a normal phase. That grief, that shock, that denial. And denial, you know, when we say no, they can't be gone. No, this can't be happening. We'll run away. We'll run away. That's okay. Because denial is a shock absorber for your heart. It helps your heart. It's a shock absorber, so it doesn't just break and crack, heartbroken. So the denial is a phase. It's that rage and despair, and that's where you ask for help. One of the blessed things is all my close friends, Deb Pace, Aurora Mamea, Rosemary Kaye, all of Diane Mitchell, just recently, all of my Larry Grounds, all of my Ganaxthimadaw brothers, all checked on me with condolences, and all checked on me to see how I was doing. And man, that helped. Let me cry. Let me talk it out. Let me ask and ask for prayers. Ask for prayers. That's the best thing you could do. Say, pray for our family. Pray for our family. We're going through this grief. Pray for me. Pray for my children. Pray for my family. That's the best thing that you can do, is to ask for help. And Native Wellness Institute, or the beauty of Native Wellness Institute is we're going through a restructuring, and things are just turning out so good. I mean, later today, our board has been meeting very often. We have a board meeting tonight, so I'm gonna stay here. My grieving is here. I'm gonna stay here for a while. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna go back over there because I need to hug people, and I need to cry some more. I need to just cry it out, and this is the time to do it. So I'm gonna go over there, and I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna take a nap, because I want to be fresh thinking when I do any of my work for Native Wellness Institute. I'm not going to any jobs till a while, a couple weeks at least. And you guys all know I'm going to Toronto on September 6th. I share that with you because Tasha Hubbard's film Birthing of a Family is premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival. So those of you in Ontario, come on over. My niece Jarita, Carol Grey Eyes' daughter, is gonna escort me. I just love it. I love when my little relatives that are younger escort me. It's gonna escort me, and so I'm just gonna dress. I'm not wearing my Bigfoot t-shirt, but I'm gonna wear something of Bethany Yellowtails, and I think I'm gonna bring my stand-up, because that's who I am. I'm Blackfoot Confederacy. I'm Scotty Picunny. I'm Kami Poismix. I'm an owner of a stand-up headdress, and that's much more than some white acting colonizer wearing an evening gown showing some cleavage. That's a bunch of bullshit. You hear me? Bullshit. Showing your cleavage like a white woman. Knock it off. So I'm going to address our grandmas were modest. Our grandmas were adorned. Our grandmas had their hair braided. They didn't have it all streaked in different colors. They might have. I think my grandma might have had some purple. Maybe some red. Anyway, just so anyway, that's something to look forward to. But Native Wellness Institute, we're doing our online training starting, in October. We're doing how to be an ally. We'll be back at Barbie's Village. We're doing the Gathering of Native Americans, Training of Trainers in October. I think it's around the 20th. And then we're going to, I was just trying to think, the schedule just went out. We're going to do, and I think it's going to happen at Barbie's Village. We're just, because that's our property now. We ally with as in Portland. We'll be working with youth going into December. You can look on our website. Our website is now open. We now are screening every trainer and facilitator in a more scrutinized way, just that they walk their talk, that their community knows who they are, that their behavior has ethically and morally been intact for a long time. And so I'll just say that. So I was just thinking, well, sheesh, here I am cussing away. I shouldn't be cussing, but it's part of my grief. I feel like just cussing. And that's the hurt. Anger is always hurt. I feel like cussing, losing someone so dear. Today, he hunted my elk, my mom's elk, my sister's elk, and so I have a bunch of elk steaks. And yesterday I took one out of the freezer because I said, I'm honor your life. I'm gonna eat better. When I'm home, I'm just gonna eat elk and elk fat. I'm gonna eat the fat. I'm gonna eat buffalo. I'm gonna eat these berries. So I just been out just picking. They look like grapes. I just been picking the berries and eating the berries and going like this. I've been eating the rose hips, 100 milligrams of vitamin C. I've been picking the red clover and eating the red clover, just like a buffalo. We're supposed to eat like a buffalo, go along grazing like a buffalo. We're not supposed to be eating processed food and potato chips and Coke. Knock it off! Buffaloes don't eat that. They don't want it. They're like, ooh. So just think about, in protocols of grief, we got to take care of ourselves in honor of that person, in honor of what they stood for. I was just, all of the things, I look at everything that was done in his life. He's a good father, a good brother, a good husband. But something happened. The Creator called him home. So in this process, when you get through grief, you're going to get through. And the older you get to a place where you start to accept what has happened. You accept the finality of that they're gone. I don't think I'm there yet, but I could see my 87-year-old mother. She was just planning good things. We got a little 5th grader and 6th grader. That was their first day of school. So we're just looking at their first day of school. We're just looking at, there's going to be a concert at the casino, and my mom wants to go to the concert. And then, I ask you for your prayers for Doug Ironpipe Fitzgerald's children, because they qualified for INFR. He qualified for INFR. That was his plan. And something happened to interrupt this plan, this sudden leaving. So I'm just going to say that much about it. So to honor him, he loved, when he acted in 1883, he loved Yellowstone. He loved all of Where God Likes to Be. That film was his first film. Swift Current, and that's his Indian name, Swift Current. So in his honor, where I just keep telling these brothers, they're all taking care of business, because that was their brother. I just look at Tim, I look at all of them there. They put him in his lodge. They have another lodge over there. They're cooking food. There's going to be a lot of people coming, and so I think I'm going to wind down here. And Native Wellness Institute, in the 2025, we're going to be doing several trainings around grief and loss. Or you can request it. We'll come with the team. But I'm going to do some more deeper healing before I get back on the road here. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And just the protocol, I'll get my face painted after this. I've been swimming in the lake every day. I sing a calling song and I dip down. It's like a sweat. I was looking at the last golden eagle feather that he gifted me. So I smudged it this morning. It's going to be a special feather all my life. Probably, as I'm dying, he'll give it to one of his children, because he found it. He found it, and that was his. When I gave him my lodge in May, and the teepee liners, he gave me that golden eagle feather. I said, that's the best payment, a golden eagle feather. Way better than a Visa card with $1,000 on it. A golden eagle feather. That's the kind of fame and badass that he likes. So I think I'm gonna. So Native Wellness Institute, we're saying a shout out to Boys with Braids. Is going to be in the San Francisco Bay Area with Mike Duncan, who is going to be one of our trainers starting in the fall and next year. Aurora Mamea, Albert Tipman, Native Dads Network. Boys with Braids is, you can register. Go to Native Dads Network. Yesterday, and part of my grief, and Tuesday morning, every Tuesday morning, Pacific time, 6:30 a.m., you can listen to Mike Duncan and Native Dads Network. That was what boosted me out of my grief, because sometimes you can swirl down in your grief, and that's not good. That's why grieve and then get busy. Take care of yourself. Grieve, get busy, go back, do some work stuff, get busy. You're going, grieve for a while, clean your house, grieve for a while, do your dishes, grieve for a while, organize your closet, wash all your sheets, do the stuff. What you're adulting, you're responsible now for self-care. You're responsible for taking care of those around you. You're responsible for your animals, and you're responsible for your horses, that kind of stuff. And even I was just thinking, what is the protocol for snagging when you're grieving? You have crazy thought. Just my alcoholic mind. I ain't snagging jack. I don't want to. I have love, and I have relationships in my life now that just keep my heart good. So I just want to just coming on to you. It's Wellness Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday. We're here, positive, productive, and proactive. And Native Wellness will be here for a very long time, keeping the teachings of our ancestors alive. So I just wanted to say that much to you. I'm looking at, there's more relatives arriving. They have food, and these guys all can cook. They're old-fashioned, steak and real mashed potatoes, real gravy, real potato salad, real stuff. So I'm gonna go back over there because my role is hugging. My role is sharing stories. My role is looking at everybody in the eye and praying for them. My role is to, well, so I'll just, there's protocols. And just as his wife, she was braiding, she wanted to rebraid a hair, and I go, use your spit, at the end. And she goes, Theta, can you help me? And she used some of my spit, got the little tangle out. She got to rebraid his hair, just like he liked that one braid right here, and he had 2 braids. That was his way. He liked his hair. So it was an honor to help his wife, because she was crying and her hands were shaking, but she was braiding his hair because of the unconditional love. She's holding her children, braiding the hair. So with that, it's I'm just being real with you. If you live in Indian country, we have too much kinship. We have a lot of funerals. A lot of our people are crossing over. So you kind of have to get used to it. So know the protocols. Sleep good, eat good, take good care of yourself. And when it does happen, don't let it get stuck in your body. Cry it out. Run a half marathon. Eh? I could just see some of my relatives with their canes running a half. Exercise. Talk. Storytell. Sing. I've been singing a lot. Singing, because singing, rather than be angry, if you sing, it brings it down. And thanks to Gene Brave Rock, there was a couple years ago, Doug had to was his fill-in stunt, and he filled in for him doing some of the trick riding, because he was a trick rider. And so he'd given him some tobacco. He put it on Instagram and to sing a song. So I just posted it on my page. So thank you, Gene, cousin Gene Brave Rock. He played Napi in Wonder Woman. He gave Doug some tobacco, and he sang, and it was his voice, his true voice. And he didn't just go out there singing. He might have sang, got on the drum at the powwow, but he loved singing. He'd go out and sing to Nanastico. He'd sing to the eagles. He'd sing to the land. He was always out on the land, and that's where he felt the best, singing to the birds and the trees and Sakum. And so that's in his honor, that's all left in recording. So thank you, Gene Brave Rock. So with that, I'm gonna till we see you next Wednesday. Gonna ask for your prayers. Have a beautiful Labor Day weekend. We get 3 days off. Do something special with your family. Say prayers for little Josie. I think she's gonna go to South Dakota and barrel race. She's qualifying. She's 16 years old. Say prayers for her. And I just really, I really just want thank you for your time, for listening. Thank you for coming to Native Wellness Institute. I want to thank Jolene Joseph, our executive director, Healing. I want to thank Jean Tagabon on our board. I want to thank Lavina Louie on our board. I want to thank all of our trainers. I want to thank Shannon as our staff. I want to thank Shailene as our staff. I just want to thank everyone that has been involved, especially Atstanikiwa. Casey Nicholson and Atstanikiwa are at a youth camp right now, and it's Quinault. They're helping because it's the ones that have been court ordered. Even some of the young people have, those ankle bracelets, but they're breaking the cycle. They're coming. They want their mind and body and spirit to be better, and that's just a beautiful thing. They're out there doing that now. Dwight and I were just doing a training everyone's just doing what we can to help in the community as we're restructuring. And then Native Wellness Institute, we're coming on full board, back in action, starting October. I think Lori and I are going to head to Kelly Webb's place. And it used to be Eastern Shoshone Recovery Program, and now Dong Hoi Na. I have to learn to say it better in their language. That they're going to have a gathering of Native Americans near their powwow, and it's Recovery Month. Remember, September is Recovery Month, so White Bison is doing several things, NAFA is doing several things, and the American Indian Cancer Foundation is doing several things. That's who we ally with, Healing Together. So there's opportunities, and I just had to share with you because talking helps. But I'm going to go back over because my relatives, I got to be present with my relatives as we lay our dearest Swift Current to rest. So I'm going to head back over there. So I just want to say, Kitakito Matsuno, till next Wednesday. Kitsikako, man.